Hey YouTube, Puff and Snuff here. Ian, checking in as always from beautiful Northeast Ohio. Just finished watching the Browns piss away a nice little halftime lead to once again find new and creative ways to lose a football game. I am joined this evening, as I often am, by the sleepy and surly Winston the Bulldog. So, as soon as I finish this video, I will be kicking off a personal little annual tradition of mine. So I thought I'd jump on and say just a few words about it. It's not really a tobacco-related tradition, but I will be enjoying plenty of fine tobacco throughout, mostly in the pipe form. He's such a good boy. So I am a huge James Bond fan, both the books and the movies. In this case, we're talking about the movies. And the fall, especially as you start getting closer to Thanksgiving, seems to be a very popular time for basic cable channels to start carrying James Bond movies. You get a lot of like the 007 Days of Bond, things like that. And if you if you watch channels like TNT, USA, AMC, things like that, you stand a pretty good chance of running into a couple of Bond movies this month. The problem is, and as good as that is, because I like all the movies, some of them aren't as great, Moonraker, but they're all decent movies. They're all watchable, and most of them are very, very good. The problem is, all of these channels that will have their little James Bond mini marathons, they don't show all the movies. They tend to show the same 5 or 6 of them, 3 and 4 times each. They don't necessarily show them in sequential order. Not that that really matters, because except in a very few cases, one movie does not really lead into the next. But I always thought it would be neat to watch them all from the very beginning up through the very end. And so 5 or 6 years ago, I thought, well, why the hell don't I just do it myself? And so with I own probably 2/3 of them on DVD. And then, of course, you've got all of the various, streaming options. Netflix. They still have a DVD through the mail trade-in program. Plus, some will be on TV. There's really no reason not to go from beginning to end. So, for the last 5 or 6 years, I have spent the month of November always kicking off on November 1st. Always watching the entire canon James Bond. Which means we watch all of them except for 2. We do not watch, and I can't think of the name of it. I think it might be Casino Royale, the first one, not the one with Daniel Craig. But there was one with, I think it was David Niven, made shortly after. It was when Sean Connery was still playing Bond, and it was kind of a spoof movie. We don't watch that one, and then we don't watch, in the 80s, Sean Connery came back and essentially, through a different studio, made, I think it's called Never Say Never Again, which is basically a remake of Thunderball. I don't watch those, but all the others, which there are 24, soon to be 25, as Spectre is about to release in theaters, which makes this year even more fun, because I'll watch all 24 of the existing movies, and then by that time I'll be able to get out in theaters to see the new release. So that's exciting. Yeah, so that's it. So we start tonight. We start with the movie that started it all, Dr. No, with Sean Connery, of course, as James Bond. If I finish this early enough, I may start at least the first hour or so, get into the second movie, which is my favorite of all of the James Bond films, From Russia with Love. So yeah, that is it. That's how I spend my November. Typically, I have watched all of the films by the first week in December, which is perfect timing, because then you start getting into kind of all the holiday specials, which I'm a huge Christmas guy. I love Christmas. Yesterday was Halloween. I don't care much for Halloween. I don't care much for Easter. Thanksgiving is nice. It's a good time to be with family, but I love the whole Christmas season. So James Bond kind of ends, and then the kind of Christmas, festive themed stuff comes out. So it's a good way for me to spend my the last 2 months of the year for me. But last year I was done. We went out to Thanksgiving dinner at the family's, came home. My wife laid down to take a nap, and I had one movie left, so I watched it. How I managed to watch 24 James Bond movies in, I think, 27 days was kind of ridiculous, but I got it done. I don't think I'll ever repeat that particular feat. So, since this is supposed to be a tobacco channel, I guess I could talk for just a minute about what I'll be smoking tonight while watching Dr. No. This is a huge pipe. It is a freehand made by Rosita Anderson, who was S&R Pipes with her husband Steve. They owned and operated Pipes and Pleasures, which is still a tobacco shop on the east side of Columbus. Whitehall, I think, is the near east suburb they're in. They don't. Steve passed away a few years ago. They don't own the shop any longer, but they still. I know she's still making pipes. She's still affiliated with the store. But I'll be smoking. I bought the pipe. The only reason not the only reason. It's a beautiful pipe. It is huge. I don't smoke it often just because it's so big. I mean, this is going to be 2.5 hours. But I bought it because that was the shop, and I've said here before, that was the shop where I started smoking a pipe. It was the first smoke shop I'd been in. It was where I bought my first pipe, my first tobacco, all that stuff. And so a few years back at the Columbus, the NASPC pipe show, I thought it would be fitting to actually buy one of her handmade artisan pipes. So it's a great pipe, nice looking flame grain there on the one side, and the other side keeps that flame grain up near the rim, but then it's got a really nice bird's eye down the rough of the bowl. In it today we've got that is Frog Morton on the Bayou, which is Frog Mortons tend to be a medium to mild Balkan, so you've got Latakia, you've got some Oriental and Virginia in there. And of course, if it is a pipe tobacco with Bayou, Cajun, anything like that in the name, there is Perique. So it's not a real, I wouldn't call it a real robust smoke. It's a good kind of kickback, sipping, watching a movie, letting your mind wander kind of tobacco. It's not something that probably isn't going to stand out, but it's a good just kind of laid back, relax with it kind of smoke. So that's what I got lined up. It is Frog Morton on the Bayou in a beautiful and massive S&R Pipes freehand. So that's it for me, guys. I am going to press stop on this video and play on the DVD player and get this show on the road. I will be back. Even though most of my free time this month is going to be spent watching these movies, I will be back with some more pipe and snuff related stuff here in just a few days. So that's all for me, guys. Have a good night. Have a good week. And go watch some James Bond. It's good for you. We'll see you later.